Walker, you told me before this game that you've been waiting your whole life for this moment. You didn't even know you were going to start until about 90 minutes before. Let's just start with how it felt out there.
It felt amazing just to get an opportunity to go out there and play with the guys. All week I've been preparing myself as a starter. Just in case my number was called, I just go out there and step up for the guys.
PJ, I know you don't need me to tell you your history, but for everyone listening, it's quite a big one between being undrafted, being a practice squad guy for 2 years, being cut 12 times, the XFL. What did this mean to you today?
It meant the world. It meant the world to me today. Just to be out here with these guys, man, and just to come out here and get a win, it feels great. I credit my teammates. Our defense played a hell of a game. The offensive guys stepped up and made plays. So just to come out here with these guys and get this win means the world to me.
I'll let you get in there. PJ, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What is up, my friends, and welcome to another edition of the XFL Week in Review. I'm your host, Mark Perry, editor of XFL News Hub. And on this week's show, you saw it, PJ Walker is your winning quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. Walker's final numbers were he was 24 of 34. 258 yards passing, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Looked pretty good. Looks like Teddy Bridgewater will be back as the Panthers starter next week. However, PJ Walker proved that he can play in this league in the NFL, so we'll see about that. So congratulations to him. On this week's show, some recaps about what's going on at the XFL, including them sending out a Thanksgiving message. The Spring League gets canceled, and a couple of news tidbits from the XFL world, plus your social media stuff. So without further, if you want to get in touch with the show, you email podcast@xflnewshub.com with your MP3s or videos, or call 888-430-7692 extension 3. And leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on the show. So my friends, without further ado, let's just get into the week that was the XFL. So the Spring League canceled its regular season due to COVID. This is a statement from the Spring League upon the return of the COVID-19 results from yesterday's testing. The Spring League has concluded that it will not be possible to proceed with either of our scheduled Week 4 games as the case of coronavirus continue to surge nationally. We believe it is in the best interest of the health and safety of our players, coaches, and staffs to conclude the regular season at TSL 2020. XFL Markcast has Brian Woods and interviews all people. You can check out their episode if you're really interested in the Spring League and what all the drama that happened there. Our own Josh Davis also wrote about this extensively, and you should check out all that kind of stuff. But the Spring League is done for this year, it looks like. It's unfortunate. There's a lot of stuff that went behind the scenes, a lot of players complaining, and then players saying it was great, and coaches complaining, and then coaches saying it was great. And we'll just leave it at that. We were really excited about the Spring League. We watched the games. We recapped them here. But it just looks like it came down to a kind of a crashing halt. COVID is, of course, a clearly big problem across the country, and it's hard to, if you're not the NFL or the NBA, to try to contain that stuff. And so we'll see if the Spring League returns in the spring. And if you want to learn all the behind-the-scenes stuff, again, check out XFL Markcast and also some of the work that Josh Davis is doing on XFL News Hub if you want to learn more about that. Some quick tidbits on the XFL. First, the New York Jets signed Battlehawks tight end Connor Davis to the practice squad. Guardians Director of Operations Chris Thompson has been hired as the offensive coordinator for the IFL's Mass Pirates. The IFL is the Indoor Football League's Massachusetts Pirates. Didn't know there was one, but congratulations to him, and hopefully they can have a season without having any problems. The XFL sent a Thanksgiving message, thank you, to fans. This came from Danny Garcia, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Jeffrey Pollock. It was sent to all the season ticket holders and fans that had signed up for their newsletter. It says, quote, "To behold our beloved fans of the XFL. Thanksgiving is one of our favorite times of the year because it provides an opportunity to take inventory of all the great things in our lives. And you, our amazing XFL family, are surely on the top of our list." Oh, thank you. "We are so thankful to be stewards of a brand that people love, that gives you reason to root so hard for your sides hurt, to jump to your feet no matter where you are in support of your favorite player and team. It's a sense of pride that's unmatched, and we're filled with the greatest joy and appreciation that you've welcomed us to be part of it. We are working hard to bring you a league of culture, dedication, and passion among our players, coaches, and cities. No one will outwork us. We definitely know that from Danny Garcia and The Rock. And that includes everything we do, from fan engagement to the merchandise to the type of coaches and players we welcome, all the way to the cities in which we dig our cleats in. This last year has been one of the most challenging and unprecedented periods we've all experienced, but it's the fourth quarter, fourth down, with 2021 inches away, and we have so many exciting announcements and engagements coming down the road. We're wishing you and your families good health and peace as we turn the page together. For the love of football, Danny Garcia, Dwayne Johnson, and Jeffrey Pollock. We've said this from the beginning. Our own Mike Mitchell talks about this. Look for that June time frame. Hopefully in the new year, we'll get some word from the XFL. I've been wondering, hey, we haven't really heard from them in a while. It's been almost a month. So glad to see them reach out again. I assume they'll reach out now for Thanksgiving, then before Christmas, maybe even some merch stuff coming along the way because of the holidays. And then hopefully we'll get to start seeing things start crank out January, February, March timeframe. Into that June, we can start getting excited again about the 2022 season.
Here's what you missed last week on the XFL Markcast. We got an interesting show today. It's definitely taken on a life of itself in the last 48 to 72 hours. Of course, we got Kent Shelby coming up, and who else do we have coming up?
Ryan Woods, CEO of the Spring League, is going to be coming on.
We're being responsible journalists here, and we're getting both sides of the story on the Spring League shutdown and all the drama.
It was definitely a great opportunity, but I do believe that we were being misused, mistreated. Because for one, we football players, we need treatment. And there's not really no way for us to get treatment.
When I read things of players claiming that they were forced to play and things of that nature, that nothing could be further from the truth. Has never been my position. If anything, I'm more of an advocate for the players than probably any league commissioner. I really am. I'm there, and we created the Spring League to give guys opportunities because there's just nothing out there.
There's just no way Carolina is going to rise above and get into that playoff picture. So maybe it's a situation where you shut Teddy down for the rest of the season. Shut him down. Just give PJ a shot. Let's see what happens. What's going to be the harm in letting PJ go the rest of the season?
I'm just presenting you the facts, and you can do whatever you want with that. But these are facts. The facts are The Rock, owner of the XFL, owns a tequila company. Term on it, it's supposed to be really good. He also retweets people when they do birthday shots and posts them on Twitter. So what do we do with this? Do we call Kent Shelby up? Is Kent Shelby coming in and doing a tequila shot? I mean, what are we doing here, Paul?
I will figure something out on Friday. Of course, you can find XFL Markcast on XFL News Hub and wherever you get podcasts, including YouTube.
What's up, XFL Army? If you're a fan of the XFL News Hub and you have a telephone, which I know all of you do because you're sitting there playing on your phones all the time, then why not download the XFL News Hub app? That's right, it's on iTunes. It's on Android. We have an Android version and an iPhone version of the XFL News Hub app. So what do you get? You get the latest news from XFL News Hub, the premier source of XFL news in the universe. Plus, you get push notifications when we have breaking news. You will be the first to know. You can leave a comment on some of the news right from your phone. Plus, you get this podcast on your phone as well. Remember, you can leave us reviews on the Google Play Store or iTunes. It links to our other social media accounts, and so much more. Be in the know. I know you're on your phones. People are on their phones all the time. They never get off their phones. So why not just download the XFL News Hub app on your Android or iPhone today? All you need to do is go to the Google Play Store or iTunes and just type in XFL News Hub. That's XFL News Hub. Download our app on your phone today.
All right, let's take a look at some of our social media this week. Rebecca Anderson about last week's podcast video. She said, cool video. Thank you. Paladin Dome says, glad LaDamian got a job with Mizzou, passing on that experience to new players and developing current players. If it was Missouri State, i.e. MSU, Springfield would become the college version of Chicago, the Bears echoing in every bar. All righty. Steven says, nice man. Thank you very much, sir, as always. Bill McHugh says, I was a New York Guardians season ticket holder, and honestly, I want the team to come back in 2022. I think they will. I wouldn't mind if they moved to Red Bull Arena, though. It might help attendance. MetLife was too big for the XFL. Totally agree with that. There's no question. I think that's what's going to happen with the XFL in 2022 is that they'll be in New York with the New York Guardians and move to a different stadium. Red Bull Arena seems like the right choice. Cowboy Crusader says the furry memes for the alphas will be beautiful. I'm not KNOT kidding. Oh, I guess they're the logo. He's talking about the TSL logos. Okay, about the alphas. I see that. And JC Film Z says, let's go Dragons. That's it. Talking about relocating teams in 2021. Fans are super excited about that. On to the emails. First up, we got Erica checking in. I think that's what Erica Armelia. Hey, Mark, where can I find out more about that fantasy wrestling project you're working on? Ooh. Yes, Pro Wrestling News Hub. Check it out there. We're actually in the podcast. We're going to talk about the AEW Week in Review, XFL Week in Review, AEW Week in Review. Do you see a pattern here? I know, very creative. So settle down. I'm very creative. Yes, that's being worked on, and it's about 70% through. So the plan is that the Fantasy Wrestling Project is based on fantasy wrestling for AEW, because I don't like WWE. I'm tired of WWE. I owned 2 WWE websites before I started the XFL website and sold them both because I was just kind of done with the WWE thing. So the idea is that there's going to be an AEW site where we, from Pro Wrestling News Hub, it'll probably be like fantasy.prowrestlingnewshub.com, where you can play fantasy. The reason why I'm doing it there first is that when the time is right and we have to flip the switch and the XFL season starts, we'll already have an engine that's already done drafting, that's already done multiple different kinds of ways you play in a league, whether it's head-to-head or points, and then it will be all set and ready to go for when the XFL kicks off in 2022. So that's the beta test. That's where we're going with it. Working on that. It's about 70% there. The look isn't there, but the functionality is in there. You can sign up. You can invite your friends to a league. There's a league draft. I went through the draft. It orders it by ADP. And then I'm doing the point system. So basically, I mean, with fantasy sports, it's just a matter of there's just certain points that get calculated. So quarterback has got passing yards and touchdowns and rushing yards and maybe rushing touchdowns. Running backs, same thing. It's like rushing yards, touchdown. It's just data points. So in wrestling, you can either, on AEW, you can appear on AEW Dark, you can appear on AEW Dynamite, or you can win a title, or you can, appear on a pay-per-view. Those are the type of things that that it's what it does. And so that's the idea, is that use the next year with this fantasy wrestling project, which will probably have nowhere near as many people as XFL Fantasy would, to work out all the kinks so that when the time comes to flip the switch to the XFL, it'll be ready to rock and roll, and then everybody will have a good user experience, and that's kind of the goal. So is it going to factor in wrestlers do house shows? No, AEW only. It's just going to be wins and appearances, basically. Just AEW. Is asking about multiple wrestling companies. I hate WWE, so no. Kind of like the PW 500, but with realism in regard to the world of pro wrestling. How about more stats like ring control, submission, time holds, strikes, finishers? The list goes on. Yes, the problem is, who is going to manage all that? Who has time to sit there in every show and be like, okay, he punched finished. That's too many data points. And in fantasy football, there's not that many data points. So we'll see how it goes. Football-wise, we all agree that there are players who are lost in the shuffle and deserve a shot in the XFL. Rosen, come on, how the hell is he not starting in the NFL with an angry face? And many second, third string guys. How about Will Grier? What if Will Grier gets cut and then signs with the Houston Roughnecks? Wouldn't that be something? I want Will Grier in the XFL. That would be something. Or even Teddy Bridgewater. PJ lights it up next week. Teddy's hurt again, and they're like, wow, we got to keep PJ Walker in there, and he becomes the MVP, and Carolina wins the Super Bowl. It can happen. You never know. He also says, how are you dealing with protests, riots in your area? Is everything okay? Oh, thank you very much. Everything is fine here. We're chilling here in Maryland, just doing our thing. Yeah, just like all y'all, doing your thing. Keeping out of trouble, I guess, right? Another email, Jim says, St. Louis XFL opening weekend 2022. Better invite me. I'm just saying that. Mark, first off again, love the website. Big fan of the hub. Thank you very much. There's no doubt that St. Louis should host the primetime Saturday slot of the XFL opening season weekend. Absolutely. I thought DC was a safe bet because it was a smaller stadium. But yeah, St. Louis has got to be the home game. St. Louis versus New York, something like that. St. Louis will outsell any XFL marketing opening weekend. I'm pretty confident that the place could surpass 60,000 tickets sold, not given away. The third home game before the COVID shutdown, the ticket sales were going to surpass 50,000, and there was still a week plus of time to still sell tickets. Yeah, get The Rock and Garcia in St. Louis, and there will be a show. Street parties outside the Dome were overwhelming. St. Louis should also be considered to host the first XFL championship as well. I'm interested in that. I agree with that. The Dome is what it is. It's like playing in the basement without natural lights, but the Battlehawks have now created a very good atmosphere in there, so I'm fully on board with hosting the first championship, and downtown St. Louis would be an ideal place to host an event. St. Louis fan is a great sports town. There's no question about that. So having it there, I would not have a problem with that. And you want to fill up that stadium. Yeah, I think that should definitely be on the radar. There's no question about that. This brings up a second subject. What should the first trophy award for the championship be called? I think it needs to be fresh and different. Should XFL steer away from cup or bowl, etc.? I think XFL News Hub should start a Name the XFL Trophy contest. Lastly, had to go to DC in September. Drove by DC Defenders Audi Field. What a great venue. Yes. An upcoming neighborhood. That is without question my first venue of choice to take in an XFL game. Yes, the venue is fantastic. A little, as we talked with former president of the DC Defenders about, that first game and all the things that kind of went on behind the scenes. But yeah, it's a great spot it was easy. It's easy to get down there. Parking was fine. Good bars out there to hang out and then go to the venue. It was just cold and the games go by so quick, but yeah, it's a fabulous venue to be there. But yeah, I'm all about the St. Louis, checking that out too. And what would the trophy be called? Vince is out, so it can't be the McMahon Cup or Bowl. Maybe it's the Mark Perry Bowl or Mark Perry's Cup. Perry Cup? Or the Rock's Cup? The People's Cup? The People's Bowl? I don't know. But yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe we should, we'll do that down the road as we get kind of kicking into the season there. But that is a great idea there. Again, love the website, Go XFL, and that is from Jim. Checking in. Thank you very much, Jim. And that's it for the social media this week. All right, that's it for this week's show. I want to thank everybody for checking in. Remember, you can email podcast@xflnewshub.com. Or call 888-430-7692 extension 3 to be part of the show. Follow us on all the social, YouTube, especially XFL News Hub. You can download our apps and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on the show. You can listen to anywhere, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, the whole deal. Show notes, xflnewshub.com/xfl-podcast, and join us on the Discord. Hang out with other nerdy, super nerdy XFL fans. Hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe we get PJ Walker in again this week. Gives us something to look forward to for the next couple months. What do you think? We'll have some more fun features and interviews coming up over the next couple months as we get closer to the XFL really starting to kick in and making some hires and stuff like that. So thanks for listening. Mahalo. Stay safe. Enjoy your holidays. God bless you all, and I will see you all later.